Alright guys, so I just wanted to go over some of the quadcopters I'll be reviewing. I'm mostly going to be sticking to the nano scale just because I don't have a ton of space right now, and I really like the size of these quads. I really think they're quite a feat of technology that you can actually make them this small. I am aware that what was it called? The Proto N came out recently, and I thought that was pretty cool. I've got one of those on the way. So I guess we're just gonna slide through right here. Start with the Air Hogs Heliexon. It's a ducted fan quad, and I just want to go for the record and say that I haven't been too impressed with Air Hogs vehicles in the past. Some of their helicopters when I was younger, I didn't really know how to fly. The directions weren't that great for beginners, which I would think that Air Hogs would try to get into the beginners market. But all the videos I've seen of this, it looks slightly underpowered. The big foam thing looks very heavy. The actual ducted fans, I'm not sure if they actually provide any like actual lift. They look like they do. They have the aerodynamic shape too. I don't know if they just have the depth. But besides that, it looks pretty good. It's on the more expensive side because it's Air Hogs, but that's what you're gonna expect. Got the Cheer X1, which I guess the company that builds this is kind of trying to like get off of the Cheerson market because they need the Cheer X1. However, it does look exactly like an Estes Proto X frame, except for the chassis, obviously. The motor mounts, I'm pretty sure, are almost exactly the same. However, the battery is mounted on the bottom instead of the top. And apparently the whole system, or this firmware, is completely redone. And from what I've seen, this little thing looks amazing. It has an amazing yaw rate, everything, great power, and also the chassis actually acts as kind of like an underbelly. So the belly of the chassis right here hangs lower than all the arms. So you land on that first, so you don't have to worry about breaking your arms. Cheerson CX-10A. If you're into the hobby, you pretty much know this body style. I'm not really a big fan of this body style with the symmetrical arms and everything. I just don't really like it, and I've never really wanted a drone to look like that. But you know, I mean, a lot of them look like this. A lot of them are rebranded to look exactly like this, and it functions good. It gives the quad good aerodynamics, so I guess that's a good. And colors, I'm probably going to get this one down here, this one or this one. Black, I'm a little hesitant, just because I would fear that I would lose it, like outside or something, if I were to crash it accidentally. But yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of these ones. I will do a review though, because they are pretty popular. Here's some other similar ones. Cheerson CX-10C. I do have a bunch of these receivers. I think this is the camera one. I'm pretty sure the eye and this right here denotes that. These ones are pretty expensive too, but essentially the same thing as the one before, only this time that has a camera built into it. We got the Cheerson CX-11, which I'm not sure if it's just one of these or one of these with the board exposed and then just a different chassis on top, but I would imagine it would be lighter. I do like the look of the chassis. It's a little different than the other ones, than this right here, where this is all very boxy and straight. This is very curved and smooth. I think they did a very good job with this one. Next we got the CX model CX-033, which looks really fast, very red obviously. I think they're trying to go for a little bit of an Estes Proto X look, but they did a good job of kind of making it their own. I really like how the colors, there's just red everywhere and then the white props in the back. That might get a little confusing with the white props in the back, but I think you'll get used to it. It looks pretty fast too. Eishane Mini Ninja Hybrid. I'm not really a big fan of the fact that this is meant to look like a Lamborghini or a car. It looks like a Lamborghini to me, so I'm not really a big fan of that. I like original body styles. The quad does look like a mini scale too, not a nano scale. I threw it in here just because it may be worth it. Actually, I think it is a nano scale. The frame is a little different. It's made out of plastic, not the board, so that's always something different. And this one comes with wheels on the outside, so that's something you may want to look into. Estes Pro X, if you're into this hobby, you're pretty much familiar with these. I don't know what these elastic bands are. Mine didn't come with that, and I think that's aftermarket, but besides that, this is pretty much the best you can get for starting out. One thing, this does not have a braking reverb system, so if you're giving it forward throttle, then and if you take off the stick, it's gonna still keep its momentum going forward. It's not gonna stop itself unless you give it backwards throttle or backwards aileron. But besides that, I really like it. I'm always skeptical with these being a little kind of open out there. They seem a little long to me. I feel like they could have shortened that a little bit. Actually, with the prop size, they could have shortened that a lot and made this quad actually quite a bit smaller. But I guess they're just leaving room for improvement, and besides that, everything's dialed in on this. It's perfect. Very little trim needed. That's about it for this one. I mean, the blades are a little thin. I wish they were a little bit thicker. But besides that, the blades tend to roll up. But besides that, it's really good. I mean, I have no complaints for this one. This right here is something I really want so bad. It apparently it's called the Estes Proto X6 Nano Hex, and I can find any information on this whatsoever. I know that it comes in 3 different colors. This the board is always this black color. I do like the neon pink. It looks very bright, poppy, you know, eye-catching. It comes in a neon yellow color. It's kind of like more of a highlighter color. It comes in a blue, and it comes in, I think, a green. I'm pretty sure it comes in red too. But like I've looked on websites and stuff. There are small reviews. There aren't any videos. I haven't seen any videos on this. There are reviews. There are specifications. There are specific measurements and specific prices. There's a list of all the components on the board. Everything's there. It just, when you go to the website, it doesn't exist. I've been to Big Squid RC. There's no links to purchase this. I can't find it. It's really weird. So I'm gonna turn to you guys. If you guys can help me find this and search this one out, I would love to do a review on it. It looks amazing. I mean, these props, look at those. Those are deep pitch, nice wide paddle props. And then this looks, I think they're going for kind of like an octopus look with this, I guess. But very smooth looking. It just looks amazing. I would love to do a review on this. If anybody has one of these, like if this is kind of like the Xano quad where it was a startup company that failed, I would definitely buy this from you for quite a bit of money. Up next, we got the Fineco FX1. The chassis of this looks a tad bit bigger than the other open board nanos we've seen, but it does have the very smooth contours on everything, and it looks pretty good. Not too many holes to open up. I think this also comes in black and blue, but I think there's LEDs on the inside, so that'll kind of light it up, kind of give it internal lighting, which will look pretty nice. Got the FX2, so this is the FX1. It's the FX2, which you guys know I'm not a fan of the closed body quads, but this I love. This I absolutely love. Looks like high impact plastic, especially the orange down here, and it just looks amazing. They do have it. This is not a camera. This is an LED light, one of the bigger LEDs, not the nano LEDs. And it just looks so good, so angular, so stealthy. Wish they had it in black. That would be very nice for people that like the stealthiness. But besides that, I would definitely get the orange one. It looks amazing. Don't know why they give you measurements on the box. That seems completely irrelevant for me. But Absolutely love the quad. Looks like they got a big power switch in the back there, so you shouldn't have any trouble fumbling with that. The props look like SD's Proto X props. They may not be the strongest, but besides that, the quad looks like it's going to be extremely hard to crash and break. Here is the Fluorine FX10 Mini. Now, if you have the SD's Proto X, you will recognize this charging port right here where they just use the resistor to make sure you put your charging cable on correctly. This is, like, I guess you can use that for scale. This is absolutely tiny. Like, I can't even, like, comprehend how small this is. This is wicked small. I think this runs off of an either 100 or a 75 milliamp battery. And I think this is more of like, it doesn't look like it would perform great just because it's so small. I think this is just for more of those people that want to say, I have the smallest quadcopter, production quadcopter in the world in my hand. And it is truly tiny. Truly an impressive feat of engineering. The aerodynamics of the body are a little strange, but I do like how it's just not smooth. Hobby Zone Phase. A lot of people talk about the Phase boards. Phase boards are incredibly very good. I really like the look of this board. It kind of gives it a little bit of carbon fiber look. It's done to a black shine finish, so it looks very nice. You got the open LEDs here. I don't know what they're trying to do with this here. I think they could have done that a little bit better, but the board itself looks pretty thick, pretty high strength. I like how this is in the middle of the motor, so you get a good balance there. And I like how this isn't just like symmetrical all the way around. You got some holes in here for structure and stuff. Everything looks very nice, very clean. Looks like somebody put a lot of thought into designing this. Once again, I'm kind of sick of these paddle props like this that are just smooth all the way around. I'd like to see some boxier ones, you know, some 3D looking like props. Husqvarna Q4 Nano. I'm not sure if the SD's Proto X, I forget if the SD's Proto X is just a copy of this or this is a copy of the SD Proto X, which one came first. I would assume it's the Husqvarna, but I haven't heard too many good things about these. I do really like the color though, obviously. The color is very poppy and stuff compared to the SD's Proto X, which these two cosmetically are essentially the exact same thing. But their performance apparently in the Q4 is a lot worse, and there are a lot of copies of these that are fake, so just keep a lookout for those. Can I pronounce this right? Hygiene Toys HY850. I have something that looks extremely similar to this. It's called the Braha. I did a review on it and stuff. It has a different, so this kind of looks like a mask. Mine actually has a mask from Transformers on it. I don't know if that's like branding or stuff. It seems like a very sketchy, like you can just look at the controller. It's not a normal nano controller. It seems like a very sketchy quad. Apparently it has pretty good performance. I had pretty good performance with my Braha Industries iQuad until the motors burnt out, and they burnt out pretty quickly too, so just keep in mind with that. And with this one, especially if you're buying a sketchy kind of drone like this, you are kind of gambling, I guess, to see if you're going to get good batteries. Good battery is actually something you should watch out for, but good motors and everything. So just keep an eye out for those. JJRC, this looks amazing. I mean, it's kind of like, I guess, cosmetically displeasing, but I think I really like it because it's just simple. It's not any of these complex things that have all these angles and stuff. They kept it very simple, very straightforward. Batteries in there, kind of a little bit of flame detail up here. Motor mounts. It's essentially just a box with 4 tubes on it. That's all you really need, so I really like what they did here with this. Kept it simple, kept it straightforward, kept it light. When you're buying from like a major company like JJRC, not from a company like this, JJRC, you're pretty much going to instill yourself a good quality drone. However, with this, you may get a good one, you may get a bad one. Same thing goes for these, I mean, but the chances of you getting a bad one are much like less than you would with the other companies, but I just want to like state that. This right here, I really like this. For a couple reasons. Let's see, where did I start? Okay, so the motors on this, we'll start with the motors. As you can see, I don't think these are actually 6mm motors. These are slightly bigger, slightly wider, and obviously you have a 3-leaf prop or 3-blade prop, which I love. 3-blade props are, you never see them on nanos. They generate a third more lift, obviously, because they have a third more prop. And I would honestly, if you just want 3-leaf, I would buy this quad because it's a good quad. I mean, it's not a bad quad. It's got a very simple design here, but you can repurpose these props for pretty much any 6mm motor and use them on any of your drones. They look amazing. They really give you that kind of powerful, angry look, you know. And also this prop guard here is truly unique. I don't even know how to explain this to you guys. I mean, it's just like it's not a ring on the outside. This is like up and over, down and under, across. It's different, very different quad. I really like what they did with the 3-blade props. This is a little hard to find, but with the other ones it's not that expensive. One thing of concern though, the board is very thin right here. I'm pretty sure there is a plastic under chassis to support that, but just want you guys to keep in mind that I would pretty much only buy this for the props and maybe repurposing the board for something bigger, but that's just what I would do. Besides that, it is a good quality quad. Lingsheng LS1. Here's another copy of the Estes Proto X and Huspin Q4, all of which have completely different flight characteristics, and essentially they are cosmetically the same. This one, however, comes in different colors, so if you want a specific color set, then I'd buy, if you want yellow and yellow yellow, green green green, get one of these. Lingsheng LS122. See, these are the prop guards that you see, or on most quads, this is at least what they look like. And then the other one that I showed you earlier, this one, as you can see, is completely different. With this though, they kept the colors very light with the green, and everything's pretty much the same as the other ones. Do like the colors. One thing I thought was interesting is, as you can see, the colors of the props denote where the front is. The charging port is on the side here, and then charging the on and off switch is here. Usually that would either be front and back, so that you don't have any left and right balance, like balancing problems, but they kept it different here and they were able to figure it out, so works all good. Just thought that was something interesting, something unique about this one. Here is the Lula 8801, and this is a screenshot from a review done by Flying Ryan RC. So the on and off switch is clearly labeled very largely right here. And one thing I just want to point out is I really thank Lula for putting in different props than the normal ones. These props are very impressive. They're high angle props, so you're looking at probably like 45 degrees, maybe a little bit less. Big paddles. They don't have a increasing amount of tilt there on the prop, or decreasing. So you're always going to get the same lift amount from any point on the prop. And apparently this is great for stunts. I would imagine so, because the props are so large, you get a lot of power out of them. One thing I want to say about props though is the bigger the angle, the more stress you're putting on the motor, because it has to push more air down. So therefore that may or may not cause your props to last, or your motors to last longer or shorter. I can only imagine that there's interior lighting here, so essentially the entire body will light up red and blue, or in whatever colors are in this. This one I really like because of the props. Here's the MIHUI U207 UFO Intruder. Clearly you can see there is a built-in prop guard and it looks very heavy. It's really not that heavy. It's all hollowed out plastic. It's pretty thin. One thing unique about this is obviously the body shape, but then the props are a lot wider than the normal ones, or the normal Estes Proto X props, which you see very commonly on most quads. So that's something I just wanted to point out. I think this also comes in green and white. But yeah, I'd really like to see one of these. I really like to change my props and test them out on different quads and stuff, because I don't really like to modify the boards too much or anything, but the props are essentially the biggest thing you can modify on these quads to give them more power, better flight characteristics. So that's always something interesting to see these new kind of props out. This one, the Molking 33033, has another unique, extremely unique prop guard. This one, I really like this prop guard because of its the idea behind it. So essentially, it is a ring, as you can clearly see, and if you were to hit a wall, you're not gonna with the other prop guards that focus a ring around a single prop. You may bounce off weird depending on the angle that you hit it at, but with this one, whatever angle you hit the wall, it's always going to bounce off as it would as if it were a ball or something. So if you hit it straight, it's going to come straight back at you. It's not going to have any weird angles, or it's not going to bounce off and start spinning or something. It's going to bounce off the way it should. Without the prop guards on, though, as you can see, there is two LEDs in the front here. And I think that's cool. Kind of gives it. They're very bright, obviously from the picture down here, but kind of gives it eyes in the dark and stuff. I can only imagine this is a great night flyer. Very small, very compact. I really like what they did with the arms and stuff. They look a little small, but they look pretty strong. Looks like high impact plastic. And yeah, this one looks pretty good. I really want this one. I would buy either the blue or the white. Because the LEDs will shine through this better and light up the quad, but the red does look very nice. I don't think the LEDs will shine through as well on the red one though. Up next we got the Propel Atom 1.0. There is a 2.0. Do I have that in the list? I might have that in the list. So this one is another 3-bladed prop quad. And I really like the 3-blade props. The design is very nice, how it's very shiny and stuff, and very metallic looking. But besides that, it is essentially just another symmetrical quad. And the 3-blade props do set this one apart. I do like those. That's something that makes it look very clean, very fancy. So this one looks very high class. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this one. There is a 2.0 edition of this. I think it's later in the list. Here's one, Segbo FQ777 124 pocket drone, very long name. Let's see, is contained inside its receiver, so that's always good for transport. I don't really need this, the whole inside the receiver thing, because I repurpose my boxes anyways, so it wouldn't really matter to me that much. But I mean, it is something that if you are going to be using this on trips and stuff, that may be nice to have. It's pretty small, definitely not the smallest. I do like how they have more of an angular thing. It's not like all the other ones that you see out there. These are, as you can see by the props chipping at the tips and stuff, these do look exactly like Estes Proto X props, but besides that, very stable quad. Here's one I was impressed with, the Skyrocket. Oh my god, Skyrocket Skyviper M200. Interesting controller, as you can see. This one does a lot of stunts, a lot of stunts, a lot of the weird things. Like weird tricks and stuff. Like there's barrel rolls instead of just flips and stuff. You can do a lot of stuff with this one. It may look fast. It's not super fast. I fly it in high rates, and I'm probably an intermediate flyer, so in a big area it's pretty good. Very responsive, very good racing if you're into that and stuff. I really like the look of it. They got kind of windows up here. One thing I want to say about this is it is virtually invincible. It's made out of high impact plastic. If you break this, you should like win a medal, because this is incredibly difficult to break. I've had some nasty crashes, and I haven't even scratched a prop yet. So I'm incredibly impressed with what they did here. Skyrocket did a great job with this one. There are some errors where if you're coming down from a high altitude, it will get a little unstable. That happens with most nanos though, because they're aerodynamics, and if you have a super powerful Wi-Fi router, I would either not buy this or shut that Wi-Fi router off while doing this. I've heard with other models that sometimes the connection will just drop out and your quad will literally drop out of the sky. I haven't had any problems with that. Actually, I had it happen once. I'm not sure if it may have been something else, it may have been interference with something else, but my quad did drop out of the air once, and I had to rebind it. I don't really know if it's Wi-Fi, I don't know what that was, but besides that, I haven't had any problems with this whatsoever. So yeah, one thing I do want to mention though is the props. I have a very low angle of attack. I really wish they were maybe even 5 degrees higher, and you'd have a lot more power out of it, but they are like a very slightly small angle, so you're not going to get a ton of power out of it. The flips on this are insanely tight. They did an amazing job with everything, but the props could be a little bit thicker, maybe save you a little bit more battery time too. Here's another one, Teeny Drones. This is the only drone that they have out, I believe, right now. As you can see, it's very small. This is an SD card. This is not a micro SD card. Essentially, it's the same thing as a Cheerson. Probably a little bit smaller, but same cosmetics and great flight characteristics. WL Toys V646. There's really not too much to be said about this one, besides it's very yellow and the prop guards, I believe, are built in. Up next we got the WL Toys V676, and this is a tad bit bigger than the previous one. But it's still pretty small, and it has kind of like a bump here. It's kind of squared off. We get kind of like a high rise, but besides that, it's essentially another Cheerson CX-10 replica with some different printing on it. The Olympic and the UFO. I don't really understand like why they're branding Olympic, but I mean, if they want to do that, they can. I was a little confused. There isn't really like a reason why. I'm sure there's a backstory on why they did that, but up next, oh, this is a great one. Excellent X165. As you can see, both of them are very shiny. I like shiny, especially if it's black. But it looks so good. I mean, I do kind of wish this was the front, but this being the front, it still looks amazing. There's a camera version of this, obviously, and the body is just so nice. High impact plastic. It's really wide and really long though. As you can see, the props probably come to about here, so you could probably fit almost another entire prop in between the spaces between the prop tips. So you could either put really large props on this, or just fly it the way it is. It's a big nano, very big nano, but very nice looking nano. As I've talked about earlier, the Xano, which was a failed, one of the first failed startup company quads. I'm pretty sure this is a micro scale actually. It appears as though there is a large LED board here, which would create plenty of light in dark spaces. Not sure if it was FPV or not. There was very little information given on this. I'm sure, yes, you can go to the site and find all the things. You can go to the Kickstarter page and find all the info, but basically the owners screwed everybody out of a bunch of money, and very few quads were actually produced. and they definitely didn't do any of the things, or not even half the things that they were promised. However, there is quite a bit of technology, and I would like this just because it looks really cool, and I'd like to add it to my collection. I think that's it, actually. So, yeah, that's it for now. I will be adding more to this list, but once again, your support makes my channel go further, so I thank you guys for supporting me. And like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, I hope to be getting flight videos out on these. I am in the process of buying a camera, and I definitely am always improving my skills. I fly at least 4 times a week, so I'm always trying to get better, you know. But this is pretty much all I have to show you guys right now. And yeah, so I guess I'm going to sign off for right now. I will be making more flight test related videos later if you are into that aspect of my channel. But right now I'm just looking for some more space and some more support for purchasing these individual drones. I will not be purchasing them in the order that I showed them to you. Probably lowest price first. All of these can be found at banggood.com for the lowest prices I can find. And I think the service is just great there. So Banggood is the place to go. They have everything you're going to need electronics wise, including all the drones featured here. So have fun with flying these if you buy any of them. Really suggest you start with the Estes Pro X. But have at it.